Greetings to everybody. This is the Grass Channel by Professor Orlando de Mauro. Today we are going to talk a little bit about some characteristics of TifGrand. Uh, I resolved to do that because some growers asked me to talk about this variety. Uh, and so I will talk about TifGrand today. Uh, TifGrand, it's an interspecific hybrid between Cynodon dactylon and Cynodon transvalensis, and it was developed in the University of Georgia by Dr. Wayne Hanna and Dr. Chris Bremen. TifGrand Bermudagrass is patented and licensed exclusively to New Concepts turf and sub-licensees for production. It is a semi-dwarf Bermuda that is darker green and produces thin blade and dense turf than other TifDwarf and semi-dwarf varieties. TifGrand was developed to tolerate multiple environmental stresses, such as shade and heavy traffic or wear. TifGrand in several tests has outscored TifWay, TifSport, TifGreen, and TifDwarf in heavily shaded areas with up to 6% of continuous shade, after which it begins to thin. However, even above 60% shade, TifGrand produces enough sod to control erosion and keeps green in areas where other grasses would not grow, making it a good choice for golf courses with shaded off, greens and tee box, athletic fields, shaded stadiums for soccer and for other sports, and heavily treed landscapes such as lawns and parks. Parking lots are usually have usually a lot of trees, and TifGrand does very good in such environments. However, even above 60% shade, TifGrand produces enough sod to control erosion and green up areas where before other grass would not grow, making it a good choice for golf course with shaded off greens or tee box, athletic fields affected by shade. This is very good for places like Europe, where there is a lot of soccer stadiums that are covered in specific times of the year. And also for heavily treated landscapes such as lawns and packs, as I said before. Due to its shade tolerance, it's considered as a hybrid green variety for use within shaded areas. This includes spotted shade, high levels of shade 60 to 70%, and shade commonly seen within sports stadiums. A very important fact about TifGrand is that the soil pH should be between 5.8 and 7, and the producer must apply 3 to 6 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet, which means about 150 to 300 kilograms per hectare annually. Do not forget potassium and micronutrients, like I said in my previous post, because micronutrients and potassium plays an important role in the tolerance to diseases and pest attacks. But you should always observe the soil test or soil analysis to take your decision about how much to apply annually. Let's talk about care of the grass. TifGrand Bermudagrass spreads by rhizomes and stolons, producing a very dense, attractive, weed-resistant turf that holds up heavy traffic, outperforming tifway and other grasses in multiple field tests that have been done in US. Its narrow blade results in significantly less morning dew, and it requires less nitrogen and water when compared to tifway and tifsport. TifGrand is not overly aggressive and tends to stay where planted due to its semi-dwarf nature. It can be overseeded with perennial ryegrass or ryegrass blends. I saw that in Italy, where a soccer team demanded that in TifGrand, the producer spread that little bit of ryegrass. Also, TifGrand is a fine texture sterile hybrid that maintains excellent turf density in 60 to 70% shade, and it is available for sale only as sod, plugs, or sprigs. But you better sell it as sod. Sod is recommended rather than sprigs in shaded areas to ensure successful establishment of the stand, especially where there is tree root competition. TifGrand also performs best when it receives more or less 1 inch, 2.6 millimeters of water per week, or 1 inch, okay? Water only to supplement rainfall shortage and avoid fixed timer irrigation settings. This is very important so that you can make your business more profitable. Mowing. Mow 3 to 6 days interval per week, maintaining a cutting height of 0.5 to 1.5 inches or 1.5 to 4 centimeters. Very important. Be sure to not cut more than 1/3 of the leaf blade at each mowing. Vigorous TifGrand growth can retard weed infestation, and this is very important so that you can make some economy in terms of applying herbicides. Herbicides must be used or should be used only when necessary, and this depends on your observation in the field. If you think it's time to apply herbicide, so do it. This is the most recommended in spring and fall. In spring and fall, you have to watch your field and see if it is necessary to apply herbicides. Advantages of TifGrand: superior shade tolerance over all other Bermuda grass cultivars, early spring green up, superior wear tolerance, and shear strength compared to all other tested Bermuda grass cultivars. Good disease and pest resistance. It has no preference by mole crickets. Better overall turf grass quality and fast recovery from wear or drought, because when drought occurs, TifGrand goes dormant, but it has a quick recovery when the stress is gone. Let's talk about adaptation. We can say that TifGrand has good adaptability. If we remember about celebration, celebration has the same, more or less the same picture for adaptation, except that from this point, celebration goes up this way, reaching this point north of California. So even despite this little difference, we can say that TifGrand has good adaptation, even for Europe and South America. Well, I would like to thank you for your time and attention. And I must tell you that I have only 15 minutes to present my post. And so I try to speak very quickly. And here you have the literature if you are interested in some specific point. This is the literature I used to prepare this post. And it was viewed on 3rd of December. I would like to wish you a happy new year and that 2020 be much better than 2019, especially for South America and Europe. I hope you have good profits in the next new year, good health, and success on your business. You have my email here, and if you have any questions, please just write me an email. I will be very glad responding to you. Okay, so bye bye and see you next year.